And press is easier than tight, or press is easier than squeeze. On this side, the grasp is easier than the press. He's got some hamstring, especially this side is tighter than this side. Ligaments, somebody did a good job here. That feels very nice. Gluteals, don't need, this side needs more. Turn your head the other way. Yeah, it's more about the head position than it is about the innate tension. If we had a face cradle down, these wouldn't be as tight.
Can you give me this?
Can you give 2 pillows so he can put his head more comfortably? And we need more pillows from housekeeping if they can bring them. Yeah, good. So if we can get away with that, that's a little better. Now I'm going to bring his arms down to the side. Okay, and he can only hang there so long. Now, yeah, see, I got a real different feel on both of those. So that was a false positive because of the head turn. If the head's turned, it's going to put tension through the whole line. Now, we taught that, I taught that. Well, you did say beginning techniques, you can sort of, I'm going to push back against you guys so I just have a little room. He's not going that way, he's going that way. He goes easy there, there, and I could do just a glide fulcrum and just, that could be my first clearing. When I show after the bilaterals the nervous system, there'll be something I would do before I would do any of this technique. That's what I'm going to be showing you. But yesterday was about being more direct, because I've noticed if I taught the indirect work straight away, you really didn't know what I was on about. So you had to see stuff happen really soon, so that was I had you, a little carrot, like you could sort of believe I knew what the hell I'm talking about. Now, that moved a bit, that's great. So then we come up through this part of the line, and I said, well, we could do this, we could play like that. That'll get us some mileage, but not as much as I'd like. So, we can either bring the beginning of an MET movement this way, looking either at using posterior cervical C7, sacrum, and we could check this, 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 or we could check this, this, or this. Let me do it again. We can go together up, together down, together or apart. We can translate left versus right, or right versus left, and we can rotate one way or the other. Now, the statics aren't going to make that go really fast. So I have to use an active component, which requires now, for the first time, someone pushing 2 directions at the same time. So this is upping the concept. So let me assess what I want to do. This might be easy. I could say to Rais that this and this, I need to move that way. This and this needs to move that way. So start with one raise. Let's start with the tail. Push your tail between your legs. Go ahead. Too hard. Now stop. Stop. Now, that's why we had him do it. There were 2 things wrong. He pushed too hard and he held too long. He pushed too hard and he held too long. Now that doesn't make you a bad human being. It means I got to control the game here. Right. I would like you to take this and push that way a little bit. Okay, and as you're doing that, now hold that right there, a little less, and now add this at the same time. Too much. Less, less, less. Perfect. Release. We wait. Oh, I'm just getting a little feedback off of that. Next, let's check. Ooh, I like that. Now, this is moving better than this because, of course, he's holding his head. If he had a passive face cradle, it would be better. So I can't expect this to change because we don't have ergonomic perfect conditions in this room. But I'll now move to sort of the torsion, twist. Okay, this will roll that way as this rolls this way. Go ahead, roll here. Too hard. Less. Perfect. Less. Perfect. Roll here. Too hard. Less. 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 Release. See, he doesn't. Now, that's interesting. His awareness of contraction is he doesn't have a low setting. He has a middle to high setting on the threshold of contraction. His brain really struggled to do a low load contraction. That's a lot of information that I need to know. Because it's not ever been asked to do that, one. Two, he can't isolate without using too much force. So his body's already in overusing and overcompensating for a specific structure. Plus, it hasn't been asked to do that movement very often. Now, the beauty, however, is the body's very forgiving. A little bit can go a long way. Let's check it.
Can you just ask the patient to kind of just think of turning the head, because even that engages the brain?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. 100%. It's up to you to decide what order you want to do that. How's that feel, by the way?
Feels good. I felt a sense of ease and plus a sense of warmth when you were doing
Yes.
it.
Now we're gonna, and that's the nervous system response. We're gonna let that go for a second. Now, no, perfect. No, you're perfect. You're just warm in the seat.
Thinking from the muscle point of view, could it be that if the core is a bit weak, then you have this kind of pattern where everything just works as a whole and it cannot separate into components?
Sure, I buy that. Is that the whole story? Probably not. Is it a good component of the story? Probably yes. Is it an element that might be more major than minor? Yes. But I don't think it's the everything, but conceptually for your understanding, that's yes. Because what do? We have also what Hannah called somatic amnesia. The brain has to hook up the function. That's why the glutes get inhibited. It doesn't know how to, it has to be trained to turn it on. So that's true. Core could be weak, but weakness is a relative term. Certainly core would be weak, but so is other things weak. The core is not necessarily generally, see what you're now thinking is the core is the causal factor. And I'm saying I don't know what the causal factor is. Core could be part of it. The brain needs to hook up as much function as possible, neurologically speaking, and most things are asleep. This is I mean, what's our normal movement patterns? This, and then when we're stressed, we're doing this. But we're not going through the spine and creating, you're not walking down the street thrusting your pelvis constantly in an undulating pattern because it's frowned upon and would be misinterpreted. But what we want is movement patterns that are three-dimensional. And so the spine is naturally, by its curve, meant to have sagittal undulation. So we should be really thinking about somehow starting either from the core down, some sort of, now how do I hook my core to that movement? I've got to figure a way to have the brain go, it actually works. And then when that keeps going, I got to bring a second one into play. That's more of a spine exercise. It's weird. I look like a demented, slightly retarded human being, which is fine by me. But, because that felt really good.
Brazilian martial art called capoeira trains
that movement. Yeah, movement therapies train that movement. Yes, so it's partially core, but is the core the neck muscles? The neck muscles have to move as well. Try it just for a second. Well, let's all be stupid. Okay, just for one moment. So if you want it other than you can just rest there and watch us all be stupid. Okay.